How you doing, guys? Welcome back. It's LSP. It's currently the 11th of May, 2022. We'll obviously go into the bloodbath that is Luna and UST, but for now, we'll do a general market overview on Bitcoin and Binance, Ethereum, and some of the others. Obviously, throughout the evening, we were, as I was saying in the live yesterday, one of a couple of things is going to kind of unfold on Bitcoin. The relief from Bitcoin from yesterday after this drop, has been quite muted, not really showing any signs of some real momentum to the upside. And obviously with what's going on with Luna and UST, if Bitcoin is being used to buy UST to prop it up, then obviously that's going to affect, Bitcoin on some level, right? We know there's a lot of OTC stuff that's been happening, but ultimately it's still going to affect things. But I'm quite surprised to see that Bitcoin's been holding up quite well. Which is good news. It's not too bad, The general consensus and the sentiment in the market, if you kind of look across all socials and what people are thinking, is that Bitcoin should be a lot lower than it is, right now. And it's actually holding up pretty well. I am very surprised, very, very surprised. But having said that, liquidity is liquidity, and that simply doesn't change. Right now, Bitcoin is currently absorbing the liquidity that it is sitting in. It's grinding sideways, and as I said, it's either a grind sideways, a little bit of kind of relief, or just a continued bleed into sort of 28,000, sub 28,000, right? So with all of that said, let's go over to the weekly, and again, not a real picture change so far. If you remember, I was making a reference to this down here. That is an absolute terrible rendition of I don't even know what that is. I'm just going to remove it immediately. But basically, this is where, we're expecting price to, to kind of go below these lows, and once it does, the ideal scenario would be that it absolutely explodes down there and then reverses very, very quickly and leaves something like one of these tails behind, okay, to show a real sort of snap and upward pressure. And then we can start to maybe get that little bit of a push towards sort of 36, 38,000. What that does is it stabilizes the market, okay? And that's what we need. We need a little bit of market stability at the moment because everything's gone a little bit wacky. So let's get rid of some of these. Very strange. There we go. Okay, so all's good on Bitcoin so far. Again, still being a little bit cautious. Not engaging in the market right now. I don't want to be doing anything until I see something that I can say, yep, that's confirmation that there's been a shift or a change or whatever. So it's just a question of just being patient, sitting back, letting things unfold a little bit. Now with Binance, it's a little bit different, obviously, because Binance is something that we can use. Bitcoin, we can't use. If we were to buy Bitcoin like today, right now, I can't do anything with it. I can't use it to purchase a project. I can't, use it to send money. I can't use it to buy anything. But with Binance, it has a purpose for us in the Binance Smart Chain space, right? So the lower Binance goes, ideally we don't really want it going lower, but the lower it goes, more people will start to think about buying Binance because they can do something with Binance, right? And this is why we're getting these pockets of relief on Binance, which are a little bit more exaggerated than they would be, on Bitcoin. And you can see that in the movement from the first initial drop. This is a bit more extended. And then obviously we pulled all the way back into, said area, and now we're getting a little bit more relief. So my point being is for most purchasers of Binance, 288 looks very appealing. Yeah. And in fact, I know people who've been DMing me saying, I really hope Binance goes lower so I can grab it cheaper, right? This is how, investors think when it comes to the Binance Smart Chain, because again, it has a use case for us. It's something that we can, take advantage of, and so on. So it's holding up okay. And again, on the weekly, it is a little bit higher than what Bitcoin was. Most of its liquidity is going to be around about sort of 200, which is pretty aggressive. I'm not expecting it to go down to 200, but, Bitcoin would really have to fall out of bed for that to happen, right? So I'm happy with the way that, Bitcoin's moving. I'm happy with the way that Binance is moving. Again, still being cautious. Don't want to be rushing into anything. Waiting for confirmation and just relaxing, chilling out and letting the market unfold and do its thing, right? This may carry on for a couple of months, all right? So just be mindful of that. Ethereum, as I said, I feel this, I feel Ethereum is going to surprise everybody. It is at the start of its liquidity pool. It's holding up very well. The movement to the upside in terms of ratio from Bitcoin to Ethereum is actually a lot larger, which is good. That's what we want to see. So again, really liking the way Ethereum is moving. As a miner, we want, and for us miners out there, obviously we want, Ethereum to be maintaining some solid levels. It would be nice, obviously, if this explodes and gets back up to 4,000. But, ultimately, if it stays around these areas, people will be more prone to leave their miners on. If it starts to drop lower, then it's not going to be profitable, for a lot of miners out there who are mining in places where the electricity is quite high, the cost of electricity is quite high, and they will simply turn their miners off, until a future date. When that happens, obviously the hash rate drops. It makes it a little bit easier to mine Ethereum, but we would need a huge shutdown, of people mining, maybe 50% of people who are mining, to make, the numbers make sense again, for kind of profitable Ethereum mining. Right now, if maybe 10% of people turn off their miners because it's just not profitable to be mining Ethereum, it's not really going to make too much of a difference to the output. It's not going to make too much difference to the hash rate. The number needs to be a lot wider. And obviously for me, I actually did a calculation on this quite a while back. It's about 1800. Yeah, if Ethereum gets down to 1800, which I hope it doesn't, obviously, but if it does, a lot of people will be turning their miners off. It's just not worth it. It simply is not worth it to be mining, and paying to mine effectively. The whole point of mining is to make money, and turn a profit on what you're mining, not to be paying to actually mine. So again, Ethereum, strong, not too bad, but ultimately really, really important. If the market takes, a huge downturn and Bitcoin really starts to go, it really doesn't matter about these pockets of relative strength on any of these, coins. Everything's just going to go with it. All right. So let's go over to UST. Wow. Obviously throughout the night, we can see, let's go over to the 15-minute chart. I mean, this is shocking. This is absolutely shocking. And it wasn't actually, it was throughout the night. It actually started around about, so we had the second sell-off, 10 to around about just before midnight, started to stabilize a little bit. And then the start of the second one, this is a pause here. So this is where it starts, just here. All right, so we're talking around about 6:45 this morning GMT time. It's just taken a massive dump. It's actually interesting as well that this happened during the London session, from Frankfurt to London, on the Forex market. Maybe something there. I want to kind of check something in terms of, if there's any outflows going from, I'll start again. If there's any outflows going from London out of UST, it'd be quite interesting to track that and see if there's large institutions or buyers that were holding UST in the city of London. But that's very interesting, very, very interesting. Sorry, I'm going off on a rabbit trail, but this is really not good. Obviously, to be honest, when I saw this yesterday, I was talking in the live session. I was saying that UST is not going to stay where it's at. It will eventually get back to 1-to-1, and then waking up to this, I'm very surprised, to be honest. I'm going to be completely frank. This has shocked me, to be fair. Not in the sense that it's happened, but in the sense that I really wasn't expecting price, to come all the way down to 26. This is bad. This is really, really bad. And a lot of people obviously losing a lot of money on this. Even people who are trying to take advantage of this as well. Because remember, at the time, you're not looking at this, what we're seeing now. At the time, people would have been seeing something like this and thinking, it's just broken this low, it's going to find support here, and they would have been buying here, to potentially do an arbitrage opportunity and maybe take it back up to 85, and then ultimately what happens, it just continues to, to drop and drop and drop, and that's how people get into trouble on things like this, instead of just allowing the capitulation to happen, because we can see the stop point. The stop point's down here. Yeah, and if we go down to the 5-minute chart, just to kind of give you guys an example of what I'm talking about, look at the acceleration as it goes into that low. All right, so it accelerates just there, right? And again, very easy for people to be thinking, this is it, this is the one, I'm going to catch the turning point, I'm going to stick $1,000 into this, or $500, I'm going to double my money, happy days, right? And then you get this, and it's like, okay, but then it gets back to break even, and you're like, okay, I'm just going to get out of this, right? I'm happy, and then it starts to go and you're like, oh, damn it, man. Like, I'm going to miss the opportunity. So you buy it back, and then that happens and you're like, it's going to go. And then it doesn't. And then it just keeps going lower. And you're like, what have I done? And then you're panicking. Then you get out at a loss. So what was supposed to be a double up has turned into, a break-even trade. You've got out, then you got frustrated, got back in, and now you're losing money and you're underwater, and you don't want to let this go because you've already missed what you think to be a great opportunity. You start driving yourself crazy. All the emotions kick in, and then ultimately max pain, and you're thinking, oh, do you know what? I can't deal with this. And by the time this comes, you're out. Most people are out. And then the real turning point comes, and then it starts to go, and then you just hate your life, right? So, and I've been through this. Trust me, I've been through this. I'm not laughing at anybody's, misfortunes. I am laughing because I have been through this so many times, and that's why I know the psychology of these movements and what happens, right? But going back to UST and Luna, wow, that is shocking. That is absolutely shocking. Yeah, for Luna to be all the way up here, and obviously since around about sort of 60,000, let's say, 60,000, I'm talking about, let's say this started roughly around about sort of $75, really started to gain some momentum to the downside, and that's just basically decimated. We take the entire movement, I can't see, there we go. If we take the entire movement, that's almost 100% drop. On Luna. I feel for anybody, that is in Luna. I feel for anybody that's gone through this or has lost money, in Luna. Ultimately, it's going to happen. There's no way that people haven't lost money in this. It's not a very nice thing, obviously. What I would advise is caution. It's very easy to be looking at these price levels and thinking, $3.52, it's a fantastic opportunity. It's a great bargain, so on and so forth. But if it gets to zero, then that's not so much of a bargain, is it? So be careful, guys. Be really, really careful. Don't allow your emotions to pull you into things that, you really shouldn't be in. Let things unfold. Let things sort themselves out. We don't even know if UST is going to get back to peg, to be honest. This doesn't look good, right? And as I was saying in the live yesterday, it's like a stain that is infected, or has infected a lot of the cryptocurrency market. UST is everywhere, right? So ultimately, it's going to have an impact on the broader market. Surprising it hasn't on Bitcoin so far. Yeah, I'm very surprised. I genuinely expected when I saw this drop for Bitcoin to be, sub 28, to be fair. But Bitcoin's holding up pretty well. And I'm just advising super, super caution. Be very, very careful. Do not let your emotions get the best of you. And I'll do a market update later in the afternoon, and we'll see where we're at. Obviously, if anybody's got any questions or there's anything that you guys want me to cover as well, come into the Discord. The link is in the description below. Let me know what you kind of want to go over. But these kind of market updates are going to be more refined as we go, and they will continue from morning till noon. From morning till afternoon, and I'll do my best to get 2 out, pretty much every day. So with all of that said, guys, I'll leave you with the chart of Bitcoin because it's not too bad. Yeah, and I look forward to speaking to you guys in about 6 hours. All right, guys, take care.